this is a setup of the Universal Auto Dual AS2PT from Standard Pneumatic Products. The way this one's set up is there's two compressors, two Ingersoll Rands. You got the valve here that ties into the main line, and then this compressor's valve here and ties into the main line, goes into the coolers or the dryer, and then out to the main line. So on this unit, I thought that it had two pressure transducers, one for each tank, but it actually only has the one pressure transducer inlet right here. So this setup, we come out of the tank into the copper and over here to this T, and then this one out of the tank into these. We have these isolation valves here. They're tied shut or tied open, so that if we had to work on one compressor, we could shut off this valve and this valve, and that compressor could be isolated. Or in this case, on this compressor, you could shut off the main valve over here, main outlet valve, and then shut off this valve, tie it out or lock it out, and then you can work on this compressor over here. But so far it's worked pretty good. We got a pretty good balance here. It cuts out at the pressure here. You can see it cuts out at 145, cuts in at 125 on the lead, and then the lag compressor is 10 psi different on that. This also has the unloader valves. That's why there's two wires going to each compressor. One runs the coil, one runs the unloader. Here's the unloader valve tied in up here on this compressor. So this unloads for 5 seconds after the compressor shuts off, and then there's a 5-second delay once the compressor starts. 5-second delay that this is open to allow the compressor to get up to speed before there's much of a load put on it. Here's the other unloader valve right here. So it's tied in here where the unloader used to be tied to the pressure switch, but these are just mounted to the compressor here, so there's an unloader on that one as well as this one. So like I said, we ran about 7 hours on each. It's about a week worth of run time. Things seem to be working pretty well. So you can see this one just cut in at 125, and it'll cut out at 145. Hear the unloader unloading there, and this actually stays open the whole time from right after it shuts off to 5 seconds after it kicks on. So here you can have it in automatic mode, or you can cause compressor 1 to be lead or compressor 2 to be lead. If you want to balance out the hours, you can do that, and then you have the on-off switches here. On this system, you wouldn't have to have these two isolation valves. But if you want to be able to isolate one compressor or the other, that's the reason we put them in. The other thing about these, you want to make sure they're wire tied or zip tied or whatever, so that someone doesn't accidentally turn them off, because the pressure sensor's in the control cabinet, the pressure transducer, and if you were to shut both these off, the demand for air would go up, it would never be met, and then they'd just run and run. There is safety features built into the compressor, the blow off here, as well as the safety relief valve here, and then there also is one here for this is interstage. But you just would want to make sure that these don't accidentally get closed. That it would only be for a certain purpose, like I said, isolating the compressor. You'd shut off this valve as well as this valve, and that would allow you to work on this compressor if there were issues, or you could vice versa this compressor. This setup also has the automatic tank drain valves for the two tanks. There's the pre-filter right here, the post-filter here. Those both have floats in them, drain down to the water oil separator. And then this air dryer has the built-in timed drain and everything. They all drain into the oil water separator, and then you can see it dripping into the bucket here that gets emptied. This, you can see it'll kick on here in just a minute. So on this setup, the lead compressor is currently 1. It'll kick on from 145. Sorry, it kicks off at 145. It kicks on at 125. If this gets below 115, the wet current settings, the lag compressor will kick on, and it will run until it hits 135. Then the lag compressor will shut off, and the lead compressor will continue to run for until it hits the 145, which is the set point on this one. Currently, we have them switching from lead to lag every half hour. I think Standard Pneumatic Products, they recommend it every 2 hours. Just our application, we're going to try that for now and see how that goes.